Well, it is Good Morning Uganda. Today is Wednesday, and I am excited to start this fresh morning with you, together with my colleagues Joram Paul Sonko and Chirabo Robert Nyonyintono. Now, lots of news has been taking place in the country. Yesterday, we did share that the new president, Semakade, that is the president of the Uganda Law Society, had dismissed the Attorney General and his cronies from the Uganda Law Society Council. But now we wake up to the news that Semakade was counter-sued. What does this mean for the Uganda Law Society? We will know as the case continues. And also some people are saying he cannot run the Uganda Law Society without the council. And on that council there must be the Solicitor General and the Attorney General. So we are watching the space and we are listening to the legal minds and what they are saying. But that's not the only news that has been taking place. Uganda also did win a game against South Sudan. So a lot has been happening, and as Ugandans we are excited. Good morning, Jerome.
Good morning to you, Olive, and good morning to our dear viewer. How are you doing? How is your morning? Wednesday is here, and of course, on our side of things, every morning is a day. Every morning we are just gearing up for what the day has to present. And so far the month of October hasn't looked so bad on the side of things. And like you've mentioned, the Uganda Cranes going away to South Sudan and winning that game, putting our hopes of qualifications for the African Cup of Nations a little closer, or at 90% now. And we are only hoping that by November we pick a point that is necessary for us to qualify. But that said, there is a very disturbing story coming in from the Uganda, from the UCE exams that are ongoing in the side of Bwera, where a candidate of Senior 4 passed on after sitting her first exams, because we all remember the first papers were sat on Monday, and developments coming in from that side in Kasese reveal that this candidate collapsed. That was moments after sitting her bit of the finals, and the cause of her death is still unknown for now. But it's, you know, this is some type of news that you don't want to hear on such a day, more so when a candidate has actually gone through school and now they are finally into their final exams. If we are to all throw back to those memories, that anxiety and the level of excitement we had when we are going to sit for our final exam, Senior 4 or Senior 6, you have been preparing not only for 1 year, but since the start of your O-level, only for you to sit just 1 or 2 exams, and at the end of the day you are announced dead, or you're pronounced dead. And as the investigations are still ongoing, we are just standing with the family and the school and her friends, yes, who have really been traumatized by this, because now they are in the course of writing their exams, and a colleague or a classmate has passed on. It's really not good news.
It's really not good news. And when I saw that news, Jerome, in my mind I was like, this does not only affect the family that has lost the child, although of course they're the most affected people, because I can't imagine raising a child to that age, them being educated to Senior 4, they sit their first exams, and then the unimaginable happens. Now reports indicate that late in the evening, after they had evening prayers, they also had evening preps. Then later on she reported with shortness of breath. She was struggling to breathe. They rushed her to a hospital, and unfortunately she was pronounced dead. But I believe that even her colleagues, her friends, imagine her best friend, if she had any, everyone is affected, and yet they're sitting their exams. And this is not the only death that has been reported so far. So we really pray, and we should continue praying for our candidates so that they get through the examinations safe and sound, and that they may also pass with flying colors. Now, good morning, Chirabo.
A lovely morning to you, and I hope you're fine.
I am
because
great.
You're looking to be very fine.
I'm great, thank you.
Yeah,
how are you?
Joram Paul Sonko, I don't know where he got the kind of flu he's having.
There is a wave. There is a wave of flu within Kampala. Many people are even saying it might be COVID.
Yes.
But it's moving on like a terrible strain, and I'm really happy that I'm getting to recover faster.
I keep on praying for you, because this is a different nature of, but good, you're able to strive and thrive amidst that. Now, it is very sad for what happened, and we continue to pray for the family, the school, and the friends. But I want to look at a bit of the politics happening, where Mutiana South Member of Parliament, Richard Rumu, seems he's not sailing well with his bill. He seems he's having a problem with his proposal. Many political parties are not very welcome to it, but we wait and see. I was watching proceedings in one of the committees in Parliament, where NUP says that the ruling party could influence the leader, though they have asked them to produce evidence to that. But also still on politics, there is something that is trending, where the arrested NUP supporters that have been in the court-martial for some time came out and pleaded guilty. Now, this has raised concerns, because they are saying, well, we were misled, we were influenced, please forgive us, this will not do it. And some are saying, yes, they have seen what is right. Others are saying these people could have gone through a lot to come and make such pronouncements. But also on the side of the National Unity Platform, some are saying, but these people could have learned that actually out of their pain, you are amassing wealth, you're enjoying yourselves at the pain and struggle of these people who are in jail. That's why they have noticed that actually maybe there is so much funds that are released to cater for us, our families, all this, and you have become a stepping stone for others to achieve their destiny. So it is something very interesting to follow up, and looking at what comments are coming in from political analysts, from the usual people, and from those inside National Unity Platform. Yes, indeed.
Someone said that if you ever get the opportunity to slap a politician, slap them on sight. Whether from wherever you get the politician.
That is violence. That is violence, but I do hear you. So, you know, politics, it has always been said, politics is a dirty game. So before you join politics or try to sing the song of your favorite politician, you need to remember that sometimes there are consequences, and sometimes the consequences are dire. But anyway, let's look at the local news.
We'll begin with President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, who passed out 203 officer cadets at Uganda Military Academy, Kabamba. The president congratulated the new officers upon being commissioned. President Museveni explained that in the past regimes, Uganda had a problem of having an army of illiterate people, which was dangerous to the country. Despite previous challenges that the army has overcome, President Museveni congratulated the military and the Ministry of Defense and the army commanders for listening to his directive to turn the training school into a center of excellency. The president also cautioned the officers against corruption. At the pass out of 203 cadet officers, President Museveni awarded the outstanding officer cadets who excelled in their training at the academy. The top award went to John Muhenda, who holds a bachelor's degree in medicine and surgery, was commended for his exceptional performance across all fields of the training program. The Minister of State for Defense in charge of Veteran Affairs, Honorable Huda Oreru, said as UPDF celebrate the achievements of hard work and dedication, also being persistent, the officer cadets should acknowledge that this is the root of the force. She acknowledged President Museveni for the unwavering support towards the military and building its capacity to the level of becoming a professional army. The Prime Minister of Uganda, Right Honorable Nabanja Robina, yesterday convened a meeting between the two kingdoms of Uganda and Bunyoro to resolve an impasse over land ownership in Kisenyi, Kampala. The contested piece of land is located in Chadondo, Block 12, Plot 289, 290, 291, among other plots in Kisenyi, Kampala. According to Nabanja, President Yoweri Museveni directed her to handle the matter so that government can buy this land to settle vendors who are evicted from streets in Kampala. The contested land is being claimed by a number of individuals and entities who include MS Boost Investment Limited, a company managed by one Bosco Muwonge, MS Bulenga Investment Services Limited, a company managed by Okwiria Richard, Waswa Lawrence, and Dingiro Paul, the administrator of the estate of the late Ernest Kirepso Kizito, as well as the Cultural Institution of Uganda and Bunyoro Chitara Kingdom. Nabanja said that the purpose of the meeting was to bring together all the parties and stakeholders with vested interest on the said land to agree. The Kingdom of Uganda delegation was led by Prince Wasajja, while the Bunyoro Chitara Kingdom was led by Prime Minister Andrew Byakutaga and had the Chief Prince Mujenyi Ruchunya. Still on local stories, members of the Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee of Parliament have tasked officials from the National Unity Platform to provide evidence on their submission that opposition members of Parliament may be compromised to elect a leader of opposition whom the ruling party finds agreeable. The officials had appeared before the committee to give their contribution on the Parliamentary Administration Amendment Bill 2024. The National Unity Platform and officials from the ruling National Resistance Movement shared the same opinion that the status quo about the appointment of the leader of opposition in Parliament should be maintained as enacted by the framers of the 1995 Constitution. And finally, on the local scene, sad news. A senior 4 candidate, Nabasirye Sulaina, from Bwera Secondary School in Kasese District, passed away just hours after sitting her Uganda Certificate of Education UCE exams. The student collapsed after experiencing a sudden severe headache and died upon arrival at Bwera General Hospital. According to Solomon Virungi, the senior master of Bwera Secondary School, Nabasirye showed no sign of illness before the incident. Fellow student described Nabasirye as a social and friendly person. Nabasirye's mother, Ranyeza Grace, remembered her daughter as a dedicated and passionate student who had big dreams. The cause of her sudden death is still under investigation by medical personnel, according to the DPC Bwera Division.
And now we turn our focus onto international news, where the United States has written to Israel, giving it 30 days to boost humanitarian aid access in Gaza or risk having some United States military assistance cut off. The letter, sent on Sunday, amounts to the strongest known written warning from the U.S. to its ally and comes amid a new Israeli offensive in northern Gaza that has reportedly caused a large number of civilian casualties. It says the U.S. has deep concerns about the deteriorating humanitarian situation, adding that Israel denied or impeded nearly 90% of humanitarian movements between the north and south last month. Israel is reviewing the letter. An Israeli official was reported as saying, adding, quote unquote, the country takes this matter seriously and it intends to address the concerns raised with the United States counterparts. Israel has previously said it is targeting Hamas operatives in the north and not stopping the entry of humanitarian aid. Now, in other news, voters in the swing state of Georgia turned out in record numbers on Tuesday as early voting for the November 5th presidential election began, as per state officials. At least 252,000 voters had cast their ballots at the early voting sites as of 4 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. That was nearly double the 136,000 opening day participants in early in-person voting for the 2020 election, said Gabriel Sterling, Georgia's number 2 election official. Sterling took to social media and exclaimed, "Spectacular turnout." While some voting sites reported an hour-long wait in Atlanta's core counties, others reported little or no wait time. Georgia is one of the 7 competitive battleground states likely to play a decisive role in the election result. The turnout reflects the popularity of early voting, either seen in person or by mail, also seen in the 2020 elections. And still speaking matters elections, the official results have yet to be released, but it is becoming clear that the Liberation Front of Mozambique, Frelimo, the party in power since Mozambique's independence almost 50 years ago, and its candidate Daniel Chapo will win. In the presidential race, Venancio Mondlane, one of 3 opposition candidates who recently left Renamo to run as an independent candidate against Renamo chairman Osufo Momade, came in 2nd place. But Mondlane claims victory in this election, saying he is the victim of massive electoral fraud. What we are seeing here is election rigging of the highest order, Mondlane told DW, adding, "This is nothing new. We have seen this in past elections." Official numbers indicate victory for Frelimo, which has ruled Mozambique since independence in 1975. In the capital, Maputo, 53.68% of the votes are said to have gone to Daniel Chapo, while Venancio Mondlane received 33.84%, followed by Renamo's Osufo Momade with about 9%, and Lutero Simango of the MDM, which is Democratic Movement of Mozambique Party, with around 3%. Well, now let's have a look at the stories that have been highlighted by the press.
Well, according to the New Vision, the Kampala land boss has been charged over forgery. And this is according to the New Vision. There's a pictorial of Balondem at the front page of the New Vision. That is David Balondem, and at the front page the image shows him handcuffed as well after being charged yesterday. Then also government is set to releases 16 trillion shillings. Pensioners, contractors get lion's share of Q2 of the disbursement of the Ministry of Finance. Then sports, Uganda edges closer to AFCON qualification. That is with the New Vision. Then tribute Bishop Balagade, a visionary leader who has been eulogized. Then in business, Mbale Expo is set to showcase local products. Read about the preparedness of Mbale to host the expo. Now in matters security, President Museveni passes out 203 officer cadets. More of that is in the New Vision. Then matters accountability, State House probes Electoral Commission officials. Find more details of that report in the New Vision. Then off to the Daily Monitor. Inside the opposition electoral reforms, in between the lines, the Daily Monitor has obtained exclusive access to a string of bills that the immediate past leader of opposition in Parliament has drafted to, among others, restore presidential term limits, introduce the idea of a running mate during presidential polls, and then also split the legislative branch in two while also reducing its size. And then economy post positive results despite negative predictions. And then 3 in 10 Ugandans go without food daily. This is a new report. And then second day, the bishop who taught self-reliance. Then census results, persons with disability reject erroneous data. And then in the Excel, in PLE, prepare your child for the exams with a pull-out that is in today's edition of the Daily Monitor. Then in the home's perspective, how much does it cost to build a house in 2024? Bigger question in today's Daily Monitor. Now off to the Daily Nation. The fight of his life. Impeachment of the deputy president as options fast dwindling as his D-Day seems to loom, says the Daily Nation. Then also in Parliament, lawmakers seek the extension of boundary review timelines. And elsewhere, court rejects the DPP's bid to withdraw 7.6 billion graft case against Devani. And in the permanent secretary's point of view, state will foot 30 billion Kenyan shillings on the bill in regards to the National Health Insurance Fund, which the state is owing hospitals. Now, the university dons and staff are set to strike over pay. And then in matters parenting, the survivor tells breast cancer redefined our motherhood journey. Find about that and more in the Daily Nation. And that does it for our press review this Wednesday.
Well, as we come back from the press review this morning, now we'll leave you with the inspiration song of the day from Adehi and Joe Praise, which is a Game Changer. We'll be right back.
Live from UPC Studios in Kampala, this is...
And developments coming in from that side in Kasese reveal that this candidate collapsed. There was moments after sitting her bit of the finals. And the cause of her death is still unknown for now. But it's, this is some type of news that you don't want to hear on such a day. More so when a candidate has actually gone through school and now they are finally into their final exams. If we are to all throw back to those memories, that anxiety and the level of excitement we had when we are going to sit for our final exam, senior 4 or senior 6, you have been preparing not only for 1 year, but since the start of your O-level, only for you to sit just 1 or 2 exams. And at the end of the day, you are announced dead or you're pronounced dead. And as the investigations are still ongoing, we are just standing with the family and the school and her friends,
yes,
who have really been traumatized by this, because now they are in the course of writing their exams and a colleague or a classmate has passed on. It's really not good news.
It's really not good news. And when I saw that news, Jerome, in my mind I was like, this does not only affect the family that has lost the child, although of course they're the most affected people, because I can't imagine raising a child to that age, them being educated to senior 4, they sit their first exams, and then the unimaginable happens. Now, reports indicate that late in the evening, after they had evening prayers, they also had evening preps. Then later on, she reported with shortness of breath. She was struggling to breathe. They rushed her to a hospital, and unfortunately, she was pronounced dead. But I believe that even her colleagues, her friends, imagine her best friend, if she had any, everyone is affected, and yet they're sitting their exams. And this is not the only death that has been reported so far. So we really pray, and we should continue praying for our candidates so that they get through the examinations safe and sound, and that they may also pass with flying colors. Now, good morning, Chiravo.
A lovely morning to you, and I hope you're fine.
I am
because
great.
You're looking to be very fine.
I'm great, thank you.
Yeah,
how are you?
Joram Paul Sonko, I don't know where he got the kind of flu he's having.
There is a wave of flu within Kampala. Many people are even saying it might be COVID.
Yes.
But it's moving on like a terrible strain, and I'm really happy that I'm getting to recover faster.
I keep on praying for you, because this is a different nature of, but good, you're able to strive and thrive amidst that. Now, it is very sad for what happened, and we continue to pray for the family, the school, and the friends. But I want to look at a bit of the politics happening, where Tiana South Member of Parliament, Richard Rumu, seems he's not sailing well with his bill. He seems he's having a problem with his proposal. Many political parties are not very welcome to it, but we wait and see. I was watching proceedings in one of the committees in Parliament, where NUP says that the ruling party could influence the leader, though they have asked them to produce evidence to that. But also still on politics, there is something that is trending where the arrested NUP supporters that have been in the court-martial for some time came out and pleaded guilty. Now, this has raised concerns because they are saying, well, we were misled, we were influenced, please forgive us, this will not do it. And some are saying, yes, they have seen what is right. Others are saying these people could have gone through a lot to come and make such pronouncements. But also on the side of the National Unity Platform, some are saying, but these people could have learned that actually out of their pain, you are amassing wealth, you're enjoying yourselves at the pain and struggle of these people who are in jail. That's why they have noticed that actually maybe there is so much funds that are released to cater for us, our families, all this, and you have become a stepping stone for others to achieve their destiny. So it is something very interesting to follow up and looking at what comments are coming in from political analysts, from the usual people, and from those inside National Unity Platform. Yes, indeed.
Someone said that if you ever get the opportunity to slap a politician, slap them on sight. Whether from wherever you get the politician.
Girl, that is violence. That is violence, but I do hear you. So, you know, politics, it has always been said, politics is a dirty game. So before you join politics or try to sing the song of your favorite politician, you need to remember that sometimes there are consequences, and sometimes the consequences are dire. But anyway, let's look at the local news.
We'll begin with President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, who passed out 203 officer cadets at Uganda Military Academy Kabamba. The president congratulated the new officers upon being commissioned. President Museveni explained that in the past regimes, Uganda had a problem of having an army of illiterate people, which was dangerous to the country. Despite previous challenges that the army has overcome, President Museveni congratulated the military and the Ministry of Defense and the army commanders for listening to his directive to turn the training school into a center of excellency. The president also cautioned the officers against corruption. At the pass out of 203 cadet officers, President Museveni awarded the outstanding officer cadet their training at the academy. The top award went to
part of our journey, and let's navigate the unknown, uncover the untold, and safeguard our future together. Tune into your public broadcaster, for it is the intersection of trust and truth. Because to UBC, your story, and every voice matters. UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Juko.
Yo.
Wachikuwa. Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Uganda wange. Haven't you heard of the parish development model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, Sebatia. It is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a portrait project, and now things are moving.
Juko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
Live from UPC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Well, thank you for sticking with us. This is Good Morning Uganda. If you're just joining us, I'm Olive Monica Najuma, and right next to me is Robert Chirabo Nyonyintono, and Jerome Paul Sonko joins us right from Studio B. Now, there has been conversation regarding the Parliament Administration Bill 2024 that was presented by Richard Lumu, the Mityana South Member of Parliament. Now, in this bill, he seeks, among others, to have the opposition elect its own leader of opposition vis-a-vis the occurring situation where the party that has the most number of members of parliament, that is the opposition party, now gets to have the leader of opposition. So it has sent tongues wagging and so much debate, so much so that even the National Resistance Movement Party has come out to say no to the bill. So we delve into that conversation, and you can also be a part of the conversation through WhatsApp number 0709602592. You can also reach us through text messages. By all means, please do not call, leave your name and also where you are texting from. Now, Robert, to begin with, let's have an overview of the Parliament Administration Bill. What is it seeking to address?
Well, this bill, among others, and the outstanding, is election of the leader of opposition.
Yes.
Because previously it has been that the party with the majority members in opposition in Parliament is the one that provides the leader of opposition. And actually some parties, their leaders have chosen to make consultations. Others, it's the right of the leader to come up with who he finds befitting to be the leader of opposition. Now, this is where we've seen a lot of challenges. Many say no, the current status is what we should retain. So Lumu believes that actually, if we elect the likes of the Speaker, the Deputy Speaker, then when it comes to the leader of opposition, why shouldn't it be inclusive of all opposition parties to have a say? However, this also comes on the background that it came out of Guru, the regional sittings, if you remember. So far we've only had one. And if you remember the circumstances that surrounded where I had opposition members of parliament, some going to Gulu and others refusing to go. Remember, Joe Osenyonyi, as the current LOP, had positioned himself very clear and said we should not step there. So now, this showed that sometimes there are members of the opposition who may be taken for a ride because they don't have the majority number. And now, this is where some have questioned the timing, that is it specifically coming to target the current LOP, or is it looking at the fact that yes, we are all opposition. In Parliament, we have about 5 opposition parties. Parties that were parties on the opposition that were able to send members to Parliament. But remember, only one who comes from the biggest political party becomes the LOP. But then he's leader of opposition for all. Much as these did not have a say in that, but he becomes their leader. Now, this is what Rumu is saying. But for balancing and you being, and us having faith in you, is more when we know that they came out maybe 3-4 people, and this was the best person, and of course in democracy the winner takes it all. Now we can succumb and respect you because you to come in that position. We participated in electing you. But waking up one day and saying, because Ugandans have chosen this as the majority, this has produced the majority of members of parliament, therefore, it is that party that should give us a leader.
But Robert, one would wonder, doesn't the actual party from where the leader of opposition come from do elections? How do they come up with the person they choose to represent them in parliament?
Actually, I remember for FDC, they used to carry out consultations. The party president used to carry out consultations. Because in that party, they don't carry out an election for this position. It's usually the principal for NUP now, the principal, I don't know who he consults, but Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu as the principal or the head of that political party says, I find this one befitting. But there is no day that
Is that how it happens? Don't they have like a committee in NUP? Are all decisions made by the principal without any consultations?
Well, for NUP, sometimes its modus of operandi is slightly different. Okay. Because with FDC still they were never having elections. But I spoke to some members of parliament who were saying, despite the fact that we didn't have elections, but our president by then would call us and tell us I'm fronting so and so for leader of opposition. What is your take? But I think that is left to the party president. You know the word discretion. Discretion, where the judge has, the traffic officer has. There is so much that, so the party president has that to decide. That is why he will put down Mpuga, send him to a commissioner, and when you ask where was this sitting to agree, it may be a one-person decision or a two-person decision. I don't want to say, or a dining table decision or whatever, but usually not a committee.
Robert, I see where you're going. But now I would like to loop in Jerome Paul from Studio B. And Jerome, I would like for us to look at the impact on opposition and why members of the opposition parties like FDC, like ANT, which many call ANT, like UPC, believe that this bill will undermine multi-party democracy in the country.
Well, I'll take some of the reactions from Honorable Semujunganda, who revealed that he doesn't think that political issues within the opposition are supposed to be pretty much solved through a lot of legislation. And basing on some of these reactions also, it takes me back to the other key provisions within the same bill and why it has some impact on the opposition directly. There was also an argument from the leading opposition party in parliament currently, because of the numbers that they have, who also hold the lead of opposition, and they revealed that this bill was targeting, from their side of things, is that this bill was targeting the current leader of opposition because of the opposition he has faced since he took over. That is Honorable Joel Senyonyi. And amongst the key provisions, by the way, besides all opposition members of parliament electing the leader of opposition, rather than the party with the most seats, there is also another one that is looking at the removal of the leader of opposition, and the opposition members of parliament would have the power to initiate removal of the leader of opposition for non-performance or misconduct.
So they would take away that prerogative from the leader of opposition's mother party and give it to all members of the opposition in parliament.
And then there is an element of shadow cabinet approval. The shadow cabinet would need to be approved by a resolution of the entire opposition caucus. Now, when you look at the impact, away from the key provisions, when you look at the impact this has on the opposition, is that, one, the opposition feel it is more of one that is just going to disorganize how the opposition works. And of course, for them, they feel, just like the NRM, as Todwong revealed yesterday, is that for them, they feel there's no way parliament business continues when the opposition is disorganized. And one of the reasons as to why NRM actually did not agree to the bill or is opposing the bill is that it shows a level of disorganization within the opposition. And going back to the impact this has on the opposition, one is disorganization, because you do realize that over the years, many of the opposition members have faced criticism for, one, lack of unity amongst the core principles or the core values that they have, or the objective that the opposition members of parliament normally have. Because we do expect the opposition, for any functional government, the opposition is supposed to be, you know, on one same agenda. That is to oppose, critique the government, and advise where necessary. But you get to realize that the disorganization that I'm talking about here today is we are having quite a number of opposition parties. You're looking at ANT, you're looking at NUP, you're looking at the Democratic Party, which Honorable Richard Lumu is coming from, by the way. You're looking at FDC. Now you're also looking at those who came into parliament as independent. Now all of those ideally do not belong to the ruling party, which is the NRM. Now that element of this organization shows that one, every party wants to have this power. And you can only imagine it becomes unfair if at all, let's say, a political party in the opposition has the majority of the members of parliament, and then you have to sit yourself in position of voting again to vote for who leads the opposition at the end of the day. So that bit of the disorganization. Now, also the other side, from the perspective of the National Unity Platform, who feel that this particular one is entirely targeting them as a party. Yes. And you're not going to throw away that particular argument that they have, simply because for them they are saying, why is it coming at this time when their leader of opposition is still facing strong criticism from some members of the opposition within Parliament.
And the question here, Joram, is we've had different leaders of opposition in Parliament. We had Matthias Mpuga. At one time, FDC had their Winnie Kiza, to mention but a few. So why, and I think there is a viewer out there asking, why does NUP feel that they're being targeted? Are they playing victim, or there is something here?
It goes both ways. One, they can be playing victim. Two, their argument also holds water, because when you look at what they are saying, is it is coming at a time when their leader of opposition, their new leader of opposition, is under scrutiny or is being criticized. We can all remember the events that led to him replacing Honorable Matthias Mpuga. Yes. And during such a time, there was a lot of backlash from the public. Others were saying, no, there's no way we let Honorable Joe Sonyonyi take over. Those who have been in Parliament for some time, and the political analysts were saying maybe the office is too big for a young member of Parliament. There were all those arguments as well. So when you look at the side of criticism and the negative energy that came in, you've got to believe that their argument has or holds water. Now, on the side of playing the victim card here, is that they are not the only opposition party within.
And they are not the first to have a leader of opposition.
Exactly. But, of course, since they have the majority, you get to realize that they feel that at any one moment when someone is speaking about the opposition, because they are the leading opposition party now, it is the chances are high they are just targeting them as a party. So they are not looking for any other party they are looking at, because you look at the people who are tagging or who they believe are attacking them are either from the FDC or those coming in from the Democratic Party.
Which points back to the disorganization that some representatives from the NRM party are pointing at. But now, Robert, coming back to you, the Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee has tasked NUP officials to substantiate claims that in the event that this bill is passed, that members of Parliament from the opposition will be compromised to vote on the bill, to vote yes to the bill. What's your perspective on that? Is there a chance of members of Parliament being compromised?
Well, the challenge there is you having evidence that they have been compromised. Now, most of the opposition parties, their fear is actually that they may have an opposition leader who is in sync or sleeping in the same bed with the National Resistance Movement. That is their fear. That if we go this bill, we may get an opposition, we may get a LOP, but who is more or less dancing to the drums of NRM. That is their biggest fear. It is not that maybe a party with the two may produce the leader of opposition, but they are saying, what if? Because Matthias Mpuga the former leader of opposition, when we move around, this is public knowledge, has been criticized and seen as aligning to NRM. Now they are saying they may be compromised. That's why Louis Lubongoya, the Secretary General of NUP, yesterday before the Legal and Parliamentary Committee, he cited incidents. The problem, he who alleged must prove. But he stated incidents where he believes that members of parliament were paid off to vote in favor of what NRM desired. That is why one member of parliament asked him that, aren't you scared that if members of parliament can be bribed and vote in favor, can't your party president be bribed and choose someone in favor of NRM?
A whole party president?
Yes.
Isn't that a stretch?
One member of parliament.
Isn't that a
because it's a one man's thing. It's him who decides. So if I can bribe
Robert,
many,
I want to report. I want to have you on record here when you say it's a one man's decision. Do you know that for sure? That decisions in the NUP are one man decisions.
well, for political parties have ways of doing things. We've had them go for retreats. We've had them say they're organizing internal elections. For example, let me give you, before we came to elections, the concluded elections, because we have national elections. We had what they call a commute. Not so. When you go to NRM, people were contesting and they were being elected. Not so. Under their internal democracy. FDC, people were contesting and were being elected. What they called a Kamufu, a Kaburu, a Kagurin. Go to NUP, tell me on record where NUP they contested and anyone had that ticket on contesting that the best wins. It was done in a way that you wake up, that ticket was given, you know.
But Robert,
some politicians.
I think every party has got how they run their business.
I've been in these things and followed them for a long time.
And you're saying he hasn't?
Robert.
Yeah, I have, you know, Mukaku host here. He's been a presidential, he was a presidential candidate, he was at the backbone of NUP at some level. There's a number of people I've interacted with.
Robert, there is also the argument that, yes, when it came to the time for issuing out cards, the people like Mukaku you're mentioning let's face it, in 2020, many opposition leaders joined the NUP because it was the ticket to winning. And those that didn't get the card, what did they do? You saw what Chameleon did. He's not a politician, but we've seen artists. Let me finish. They got the people that were denied cards. Guess what they did? They either went back to their mother parties or they went to different parties. Was that is that what happened or not?
Oh, of course, some. But some remain.
Jerome, what were you saying before I let Robert continue?
The current word to use in this era is that NUP had the Masanyalaze at the time.
So that said, there are modus operandus of doing things. Because for other political parties, like I said, they'll tell you there is a committee to select, there is this, but for this particular party, I stand to be challenged. I've followed closely because I have interest in knowing many decisions. Maybe.
Robert, you can't use maybe in a situation
because
like this.
I've not had a clear process. Like I've given you processes, yeah?
Yes.
Today, we have the FDC Katonga and of course that's not FDC because they are finding how they can register but having the symbols, colors similar to where they have come from. But still even them, the Katonga will meet. You get it? They'll tell you we've put up a committee on this. Here news comes
What
out.
would you say to the argument that this is a young party and they're still putting their house in order?
That I have no doubt, and also being a youthful party, because usually youth reasoning.
I don't think the problem is being youthful. You know why? This is where I'm coming from. When our president became president, he was still youthful, right? And all the people that worked with him and to form what we know today as the NRM government, they were young. I believe that
you know what he did?
the people we know in Democratic Party like Norbert Mao and many that have now gone to different parties were also very youthful at the time. So the problem is not youthfulness here. The problem could be probably the party is young, but I stand to be corrected.
Our president brought the likes of Kawanga Semwogere. He was young, but he had a bunch of old heads with him. That is one thing.
And that's what NUP is lacking.
And that is what NUP is lacking. Actually, you will find that most of who came showing political maturity who are now no longer there. Or they just simply say, I'm still in no, but practically, they are not there. There is one who they told finito. So, that being a challenge.
The old heads are the ones that have led to the disorganization of the party.
No. but only.
And actually, Jeremy is bringing something very vital here. When the former leader of opposition,
because they wanted the party
Jeremy,
as
just
much.
a minute. When the former leader of opposition, Mathias Mpuuga, showed the exit, it was one of the arguments was that he should not be ousted from that position because he is seasoned in politics. He is a lawyer by profession. He has been around, okay, and he's an old brain. But the party says he failed the party. So, Jerome, coming back to your argument that the old brains have led to disorganization in the party, I would like for you to substantiate on that.
No, it's quite evident because when you look at the fallout within the same party, it has been with those that were being known as the ones with experience who have been in politics for some time, that many people in society say are not supposed to be pointed at for doing anything wrong. And at the same time, when you draw back to how many of those old heads entered some of these entered the same party is because of the 2021 elections, and we can all agree because at the time the wave then was umbrella on the side of opposition, and many of them entered because they knew they will automatically win. And I'll tell you, by the way, in 2026 there will be very few of the same people still in that party. They would have crossed to another party that they might think will lead them back to parliament.
But now, then Jerome, just Oliver Bit,
yes,
then why do you fear that if this bill goes through, your very people will be influenced? Because Louis Lubongoya's submission yesterday.
Did he say that his very people
he said members.
Robert, do you want to say NRM is also fearing the bill?
Members of the opposition may be influenced or compromised in terms of this.
Did he say members of the opposition from NUP?
Not NUP's
because the opposition has other members of
parliament. You have the majority in parliament. Are you going to tell me, Jema, that one Asumani Basalidwa is going to be compromised? It's you who has the majority in parliament. Okay, gentlemen. So you're simply saying my people will be bought off. You see, like precedents before, to vote for an opposition candidate who is in the same bed and reasoning like a person of the NRM. And these allegations of MCBs being bought all the time, they received this, they have received this, you know, I don't think it is exceptional if it is true that it only goes to NRM.
Okay, I know there is no smoke without fire, but Major General Mugisha Muntu, a former presidential candidate and also the president of ANT, he did say that there are potential risks of electing a leader of opposition that as proposed by the bill. Now, Jerome, what would you say would be the potential risks if a leader of opposition is voted for vis-a-vis just chosen by the virtue of coming from the leading opposition party in parliament?
Well, I think maybe the major risk is division, really. And what Councillor Louis Lubongoya was actually saying that because we've seen scenarios, because they have experienced scenarios where opposition members of parliament cross to the ruling party. But the good thing though is that the ruling party also is opposing the bill. But when you look at the potential risks are, you know, at times members of parliament may also wake up in the morning and choose someone basing on their emotions or simply because they do not love a specific party. And this is where the leader of opposition was worried, or where the opposition, the National Unity Platform, was more worried about, is that they think that if at all we have people coming in, they will just want to remove, let's say, the current and just vote someone else, simply because, well, NUP has the majority. Now we at least need someone from, let's say, the FDC. Let's just put him there. Let's vote our own person.
So what you're saying is that the decision may not be advised by reason, but because of maybe emotions or personal feelings towards
because this happens during elections.
And also the disorganization that comes with elections. You see, that danger, I may not be threatened by the fact that maybe MPs may be influenced to vote for a leader of opposition who is in sync with NRM, and therefore things that go before. Because anyone there, if NRM had interest, or if that person was not so that independent, can be bribed off. So,
is the opposition that weak, Robert?
Let me tell you, the problems, I don't want to mention names, but in my lifetime and following political activities in this country, I've seen people who are once very strong in opposition. Let me look for a retired politician, for example. The days of Agra, my dear. The days of Chairman Mao. The days we can mention.
The days of the IGG.
We don't want the days of Honorable Betty Kami. The days of Mama Mabida.
But you see, as a right,
so what I'm saying, Robert,
as a constitutional right, in as much as these were strongholds in the opposition politics of this country, they also still have a constitutional right to change and cross over to new parties.
It is not because our political parties, there is free entry, and I want to believe free exit. It is their right. But the problem is that when you do it, to those that have been, the ones maybe you recruited that have been holding on to you, they see that as a little bit of, as a betrayal, to be more specific. So for me, my fear is not that influence, but the disorganization that comes with our elections, Olive. In Uganda, for some reason, put an election, you're going to see how the opposition will be disorganized because they're electing the leader of opposition. Okay. Look at NRM for the speaker, just for the speaker. You had Honorable Rebecca Kadaga, you had Honorable Thomas Payewa,
and I was coming to that because you were saying opposition, disorganization, but we have witnessed the same in NRM. So at the end of the day, like Jerome said, politicians will make emotional decisions. This is my my concept when it comes to politics.
You know why NRM
that
comes
politicians politics is an emotional play.
For me,
and whether it is the National Resistance Movement, whether it is the Forum for Democratic Change, whether it is the National Unity Platform, there is emotions there.
Emotions are there, but how do you come back from
your parting remarks, Robert?
My parting remarks are, one, all political parties have indicated that they are not so welcome of this bill. The last would have been NRM, which we thought this bill, as allegations are coming, that they would want someone who can dance according to their drums. Richard Odong said we need a strong opposition, and this is not what we want because it will weaken the opposition. Now, members of the opposition, for them, they know very well how such nature of elections can mess them up completely. NRM can go through this and rise up again because they're the party in power. The president can call some. In my father's house, there are many places. If they weren't, I wouldn't have told you. Jesus told us. He's going to prepare places. So for NRM, there's that way you can call someone and say, brother, leave this, take on this. Leave this, take on this. Because we've seen this happening. But in opposition, who is going to say, leave this, I offer you this? So I think, and evidence has shown, that Richard Rumu, maybe this did not come either in good faith, and it may not see the light of day.
All right. Jerome, your parting remarks.
Well, my parting shots will be pretty simple. I think there is a lot of disorganization in the opposition. And not only the opposition anyway, but within our political system at times, especially when it comes to such decisions of elections and all that. But one, on the side of the opposition, we all believe that the main aim of the opposition is to take over power in the democratic process. because we are a democratically run country, meaning every opposition party gets up so that they win the ballot. And come 2026, we expect the opposition to send in their preferred candidates. Now, if the aim is that, if you cannot control and organize your house from a small portion, then the worry is what will happen if you get the chance of managing the country affairs in a situation where we have all these opposition leaders. I just do not want to even put myself into that context, because I believe the opposition has become their own problem before they come for the main problem that they have or what they see as their problem.
All right, thank you, Jerome. And you do raise a pertinent issue. If you cannot put your house in order, then it makes us Ugandans who vote for you a bit worried, because we now don't know how you will run the country. And I think we all forget that the country is what is at stake right here. It's not opposition, it's not NRM, but the country and Ugandans. But as we come to the end of our conversation, there is also a timetable that UNEP has showed. Remember, since Monday, there has been there has been sitting of national examinations, that is the Uganda Certificate of Education examinations for Senior 4, and according to UNEB, the lower secondary curriculum timetable, morning, that is today, there will be a physics paper and art making, also known as planning, that will be sat this morning. And then today in the afternoon, they will also have art making will be in the afternoon. And then the transitional examination, this morning they will be sitting biology practicals, and in the afternoon they will have the IPS electrical practice. That's what's happening from the side of UNEB. We continue to wish the candidates the best of luck in their national examinations. And from us here at Good Morning Uganda, we say that you can actually make it. So believe in yourself and continue to do what you can do best. Good Morning Uganda continues.
Live from UPC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
In a nation hungry for truth, a world where every story matters, there exists a beacon of trust and reliability. For decades, they've been our voice and our window to the world, holding the mirror of our history. With 4 TV stations and 11 radio channels spanning 27 languages, they stand as guardians of information, defenders of truth. With Mascari Heritage Advantage, they uphold every citizen's right to reliable and free information. Their archive stories shaped our past and illuminate our present. Yet now, as new challenges arise and the world evolves, their mission faces its greatest test yet. Be part of our journey and let's navigate the unknown, uncover the untold, and safeguard our future together. Tune into your public broadcaster, for it is the intersection of trust and truth. Because to UBC, your story, every story, and every voice matters. UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Live from UPC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Known as the Pearl of Africa, Uganda is a captivating country. This is a land of breathtaking beauty, from rolling hills to shimmering lakes to misty mountains and dense rainforest. Its diverse landscapes and fantastic wildlife make it a spectacular destination. Even though it's right on the equator, did you know that Uganda has snow caps? From one of the highest mountain ranges in Africa to the mighty Nile, the country is filled with natural beauty. Here, you will have the opportunity to encounter African elephants, the rare and endangered mountain gorillas, and if you're lucky, you'll spot the tree-climbing lions. Uganda has over 50 distinct tribes, each with its own traditions, music and dance. This country is the perfect blend of natural beauty, a vibrant culture and friendly people. In this video, I'm going to show you Uganda's largest national parks, Murchison Falls and Queen Elizabeth. We're going to visit Uganda's botanical garden and the famous Mabamba swamps. I am taking you on a trek to the impenetrable forest Bwindi in search of mountain gorillas. And we're going on many boat rides, including a visit to the most gorgeous lake in the country, Lake Bunyoni. Welcome on a journey to the most beautiful places in Uganda. This is a safari adventure I will not forget. Our first morning in Uganda, we woke up to the sound of the birds in a tiny neighborhood in Entebbe. Entebbe is a small city of around 70,000 people located on the shores of Lake Victoria. This is where the only international airport in Uganda is located. Our first visit this morning, we are going on a boat ride on Lake Victoria. Then we will transfer to smaller boats and enter the Mabamba swamps. Lake Victoria is the largest lake in Africa and the second largest freshwater lake in the world. The lake covers a huge area and has a coastline with 3 countries, Tanzania, Kenya and Uganda. There are over 1,000 islands in the lake. Some are very small, others uninhabited. Lake Victoria is also one of the main sources that feeds the Nile River. At the beginning of the swamp area, other locals came to pick us up. We switched to their smaller boats to enter the swamps. This wetland has great ecological importance and is a big birding site, home to over 300 species of birds. This morning, we're hoping to see the elusive and prehistorical-looking shoebill. We're extremely lucky to find a mom and its baby.
Okay, it's going to fly.
The mom flew away, but the baby let us approach it from real close. This strange-looking bird has a razor-sharp beak that can decapitate any fish or even a small crocodile. Our baby has yellow eyes, but some shoebills have exotic, pale blue eyes that can be very striking. Shoebills are mainly silent, but they do communicate through clapping their bills very fast. This is a vulnerable bird species that needs protection. Navigating through the narrow waterways, the tranquility of the swamp is enchanting. We were surrounded by tall papyrus and gorgeous lilies. Our next stop is the National Botanical Garden of Uganda. You can walk around the botanical garden all day. This is a vast and captivating place to explore. The Uganda National Botanical Garden serves as a platform for education, research and recreation.
We have pink, we have the small finger banana, we have the long one, we have the purple banana, so different species. We have where we make alcohol, banana whiskey.
Situated along the shores of Lake Victoria, the garden is a scenic backdrop for some beachside relaxation or a picnic with friends. One of the first Tarzan movies was also shot here in black and white back in 1940. The park is a tapestry of plants, animals and flowers. There are over 120 types of herbs and 300 varieties of trees here. If you look closer, you will notice all sorts of fascinating insects, and these huge sprawling spider webs are quite interesting. Just be careful not to stumble into one. The park is a heaven for bird enthusiasts and home to over 115 species of birds. If you visit the botanical garden, make sure to pay a small fee and hire a guide. It's worth having a local person with you to show you the best spots and tell you all about the many plants and animals. Later that afternoon, we walked through the neighborhood surrounding our hotel. Walking on the streets of Uganda is safe, and people are very friendly. It was nice to be able to witness the daily lives of the locals. And we got to try some sweet baked yams. Next, we're off to Murchison Falls National Park. En route, we stopped at a local roadside market. This is a popular stop for drinks and snacks. The vendors immediately surrounded our car with many choices: roasted bananas, chicken sticks, sliced pineapple, and other goodies. Further down the road, we were served this huge fish lunch with mashed bananas and french fries. We traveled all day on the beautiful country roads. Driving in Uganda is on the left, and there are roads and a few highways linking most of the country. Late night, we arrived at our lodge near the lake and fell asleep to the sound of the crickets. Early morning, we headed to the park.
Good morning once again. I want to welcome you to Murchison Falls National Park.
Murchison Falls National Park is a stunning nature reserve renowned for its diverse and captivating landscapes. The park covers over 3,800 square kilometers, or about 1,500 square miles. This is the largest and one of the oldest protected wildlife areas in Uganda. The park borders Lake Albert.
Well, good morning and thank you very much for sticking around to Good Morning Uganda. Before I get into business this morning, I would like to pass this birthday message to one of our team members here on UBC or the Uganda Broadcasting Corporation Television. And this has been a brother who has been here for quite some time, and he has been a revolution when it comes to the world of entertainment broadcasting within the country. And the gentleman you're seeing on the screen is Calvin Kalole, also known as Calvin the Entertainer. For those of you who follow more of the entertainment shows here, that is on Magic One TV and UBC TV, that is with he has been the face of Horizon Vibe that airs every Saturday at 10 a.m. Now at the same time, or in the same spirit, at 5 p.m. on Magic Television, Magic One TV, he is the same man who does Jam 101, which also plays at the same time on UBC, starting at 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. So we are here on Good Morning Uganda wishing you a happy birthday, Calvin the Entertainer, and I think I will be picking my cake later on after the show. But that said, we now turn our focus on to the business updates, starting off with the Q2 expenditure release by the Ministry of Finance Planning and Economic Development. Now yesterday, the Ministry of Finance Planning and Economic Development released 15.99 trillion shillings to cater for the second quarter, running from October to December, representing 22% of the approved budget and the biggest amount the country has released in a quarter. Now, speaking at the media briefing held in the ministry, the Permanent Secretary to the Treasury, Ramadan Gobi, revealed that the economy has expanded by 6.6%. Following the expansion of the economy by 6.6%, the ministry released over 15 trillion shillings. And this huge release is attributed to the positive returns on investment from exports and remittances that have been made so far. And this quarter 2 release is in line with continued efforts to fiscal consolidation and funding of the tenfold growth strategy. Accounting officers have been tasked to ensure payment of salaries, pensions and gratuity by the 28th day, prioritizing service providers. Now, with Uganda's continued investment to grow the economy tenfold and other strategic interventions, the economy is further poised to grow between 6.5 to grow from 6 to 6.5 this financial year. Now, elsewhere, we turn our focus to the Uganda Bureau of Statistics, because the National Union of Disabled Persons of Uganda has called upon Uganda National Bureau of Statistics to make further analysis of the disability statistics and justify the reduction in the percentages. According to NUDIP, the reduction in the number of persons with disabilities from 12.4% as per the 2014 census to 5.7% in 2024 is a misrepresentation of the facts on the ground that they have as the National Union of Disabled Persons of Uganda. Now, the 2024 population and housing, 2014 population and housing census reported that the total population of persons with disability then stood at 12.4%. Now, they feel, according to new statistics of 2024, that's a huge reduction of them standing at 5.7%, which indicates a reduction of 6.7%. Now, mathematically, and by the look of things, they have an argument here. Now, there is also a concern that is going to further suppress the representation and service delivery of persons living with disability, because now NUDIP believes that this will be another frustrating time for them to seek out for facilities and service delivery, especially if the government has the wrong statistics of what they do have as NUDIP. Now, elsewhere, we turn our focus to sustainable agriculture, because in an effort to combat the growing impacts of climate change on agriculture production, Heifer International is providing sustainable agriculture machinery to farmers in Nakaseke, Wakiso and Kamule districts. This initiative, supported by Moti Foundation, is aimed at reducing the carbon emissions associated with traditional post-harvest handling processes. The ongoing climate crisis disproportionately affects the poorest and most vulnerable countries, making farming increasingly difficult. Now, there is also the reliance on fossil-powered machinery in modern agriculture, which only exacerbates the issue of climate change. Now, Heifer International is addressing this challenge by equipping farmers with the necessary skills to use solar energy for post-harvest handling. Now, the distributed renewable energy ecosystem model hub project is designed to empower farmers to improve their access to safer water and enhancing their resilience to climate change. This project, along with various partners, including the Kabaka Foundation, aims to support close to 1,500 farmers. It will also create opportunities by training 1,000 underserved youth and women entrepreneurs in solar energy, providing skills for jobs across value chains. And now, lastly, from our business updates, we head to Wandagea, because the Wandagea market vendors are expressing deep concerns over the Kampala Capital City Authority's decision to dispose of commercial facilities at the market. Now, according to a letter from the Directorate of Gender, Community Service and Production, KCCA is planning to advertise the facilities for reapplication, prompting confusion and frustrating among the current occupants. The vendors argue that the directive issued by the President, which was reaffirmed by the Prime Minister, allowed them to occupy the shops without paying rent. And this directive aimed to empower local vendors, enabling them to own and manage these shops without the burden of rent. And since then, the vendors also claim they have repeatedly tried to regularize payments, but have received no clear response from KCCA regarding where to send rent payments. Now, despite this, Kampala City Council Authority's recent announcement about the disposal and reapplication process has left many vendors feeling blindsided. The vendors also raised concerns over the lack of communications from KCCA and feel that the decision to dispose of the shops was made without proper consultations, leaving them uncertain about their future. They expressed their desire for a meeting with KCCA officials where they could address these concerns directly. The vendors are now appealing to the president to intervene once again, calling for clarity on the issue and want assurance that the directive allowing them to occupy the shops will be respected, and they seek transparency on the process KCCA intends to follow. Well, now our focus turns to the forex market. A look at how the Ugandan shilling has been faring on the exchange. Yesterday, by opening time, the US dollar was buying at 3,659.68 shillings and selling was 3,669.68. Midday, the US dollar then buying got to 3,661.82 while selling was 3,671.82. A slight increase though at closing time, so the US dollar buy at 3,663.45 shillings while selling was 3,673.45, again increase. And the Great Britain pound closed buying at 4,776.40 while selling was 4,789.44. The euro then was buying at 3,988.39 while selling at 3,999.28. The Kenyan shilling was buying at 28.39 shillings while selling at 28.47 shillings. The Tanzanian shilling was buying at 1.34 shillings while selling at 1.34 shillings. It has been at that same amount for the past few days. The South African rand was buying at 207.71 shillings while selling at 208.27 shillings. Please note, these are rates that are updated 3 times daily. Now, those figures are courtesy of the central bank. Well, I'll be back tomorrow, Thursday, with the latest from the world of business. Olive Monica Najuma has more with the traffic updates here on Good Morning Uganda.
And yet again, we look at how best we can traverse Kampala's roads. My name is Olive Monica Najama. Welcome to our traffic updates. And right about now, we are looking at the intersection right in the heart of Chisasi, where we are at the traffic lights and the traffic situation looking pretty good. We have smooth flow of traffic for those coming in from Kulambiro Ring Road and also those that are traversing the Chisasi Ntinda Road. But I would like us to focus our attention onto Bahai Road and see how we can get through to the other side of town. And what we see on Bahai Road just after the roundabout, we now start to experience bits of traffic jam along Bahai Road. But then for the other stretch until you join the roundabout over there, we are going to experience a bit of traffic jam that is starting to build. But also we have traffic jam now, intense traffic jam going the side of Bahai Road. I see that Bukoto Chisasi Road is also bringing in intense traffic jam into Bahai Road. Now following the same, I see that we are still continuing to experience traffic jam along Bahai Road and some of the feeder roads that are feeding into the same road. But when we go further, the good news is that we now experience smooth flow of traffic along this stretch of Bahai Road. So if it's the stretch you're using, you are in luck because we have smooth flow of traffic all over Bahai Road, save for where we started in the areas of Chisasi. Now, as Waligo Road connects to Bahai Road, we now start to experience traffic jam once again. I see traffic jam coming in from Komamboga, Bahai Chadondo Road. It's some bit of serious traffic jam. And then back to Bahai Road, we still have intense traffic jam coming in. Waligo Road is also feeding some good traffic jam into Bahai Road. Now let's look at Waligo Road and see how it connects to the other side of town. I see that for a stretch there from Bahai Road into Waligo Road, we have traffic jam over here. But then as we continue with the same, some spaces have smooth flow of traffic. But ahead, I see that before we connect to Kanyanya Road, Waligo Road now has traffic jam in these sections. For those coming in from Kanyanya Road, I see that for the biggest part, we have smooth flow of traffic up until when we are connecting to Waligo Road. That's where you might experience a bit of a delay, but not for a long time. And continuing with Waligo Road, we now are experiencing smooth flow of traffic on this stretch of the road. Chizanyiro Road is looking pretty clear as well. Well, that does it for our traffic updates. Today is Women Crush Wednesday, and personally, I would like to crush on all the women in the media. And as you go to your places of work today, I need you to remember that you have broken through the glass ceiling by showing the world the things that would rather stay unshown or uncovered. So keep doing what you do. Well, Good Morning Uganda does continue.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Pick of the day on UBC.
Every Wednesday, 10 p.m. on your public broadcaster.
Was brought to you by
I'll call you every day, yeah, yo,
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks. Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000. Or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21# and select daily, or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
In the heart of Uganda, a financial revolution is happening. We were once left out, saving the old-fashioned way, with an unexpected saving spot, keeping it too close for comfort. But now, we found a better way to save and manage money. Download the Wendy app from Google Play or App Store, or dial *229#. With Wendy, your money is safe and you can earn interest daily. Visit your Google Play or App Store or dial *229# to register. Wendy, Wanawoli. This week on UBC.
My name's Jung Gwonjong. I'm the boss of this entire hotel. My duties include heavy lifting, spreading happiness, and driving fancy cars. I'm responsible for the area of hotel entrance. And I officially moved into the sunroom. You think you can cut my share of the rent?
Say what?
To maximize my space, I needed to improvise a bit. That day, she walked into my life. Hi.
So, insurance, right?
Huh? Like that. I can.
Don't let him scam you. We don't want your investments or insurance.
I met the woman of my dreams.
I'll take you home. I got the Maserati.
How do you spell Maserati?
M-A-S-H.
Okay, we're leaving. You shouldn't drive, especially not in that car. The cops will fine you extra. His family's got money and don't know what to do with it.
What's your name? Huh? I'm reporting you.
If I were to be with a guy like that, I wouldn't be able to look at myself in the mirror.
Maybe all rich guys are like that. I'm not a rich guy. I'm down to earth. No, don't. It's not worth it. But after I met you, I suddenly got out of bed.
John Wonjong, I really was wrong about you. After meeting me, you learned to walk. This isn't a love story, it's a medical miracle.
And all the women in the club will be like sisters to me.
Respect is most important in a relationship. If a man doesn't respect a woman, then he's no man. Here, keep it safe. It's your playbook. Trying to be meaningful all day with them, in the end, you'll still be single with a bunch of new mom.
I was smiling all day, every day. When I woke up every morning, I wanted to yell out, I'm so happy. If there's such thing as a miracle.
You're not a miracle. You're a maniac.
Most of the time, our lives are lackluster. When you add all the brilliant moments, or what we call miracles. Welcome.
Junko.
Yo.
What you go? Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Uganda, haven't you heard of the parish development model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, Sebatia. It is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a portrait project, and now things are moving.
Junko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. But what you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
In a nation hungry for truth, a world where every story matters, there exists a beacon of trust and reliability. For decades, they've been our voice and our window to the world, holding the mirror of our history. With 4 TV stations and 11 radio channels spanning 27 languages, they stand as guardians of information, defenders of truth. With Maskari Heritage Advantage, they uphold every citizen's right to reliable and free information. Their archive stories shaped our past and illuminate our present. Yet now, as new challenges arise and the world evolves, their mission faces its greatest test yet. Be part of our journey and let's navigate the unknown, uncover the untold, and safeguard our future together. Tune into your public broadcaster, for it is the intersection of trust and truth. Because to UBC, your story, and every voice matters. UBC, inspiring Uganda.
A new dawn on Behind the Headlines with me, Timothy Nyangweso. Every Wednesday, live in our studios in the heart of Kampala. We have conversations that have analysis, explanation, but not every truth is fact, and not every fact is truth. Every Wednesday, 10 p.m. on your public broadcaster.
All on your public broadcaster. UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Dealing with bloating and stomach discomfort can be a challenging and uncomfortable experience. Whether it's post-meal discomfort or that pesky bloated feeling, finding relief is a common goal for many individuals. Get ready to kick bloating to the curb with a set of exercises designed to bring relief to your stomach. No fancy equipment needed, just your dedication and a desire for that amazing post-exercise bliss. Your journey to a happier tummy starts now. Let's get moving. Number 1. Walking. A post-meal walk. Not only encourages gentle bloating over time. Number 10. Aerobic exercises, brisk walking, jogging, or dancing. During your routine, not only provides physical benefits, but also encourages a holistic approach to digestive health. As always, it's essential to listen to your body and consult with a healthcare professional for personalized advice. Thanks for tuning in. Remember, this program is produced by Sani Productions, powered by UBC TV, inspiring Uganda.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Good morning and thank you so much for being with us on UBC TV. In case you have just joined us, it is Good Morning Uganda Agenda, but we are here from 6:30 with Najuma, Olive, Joram, Paul, Songo, I, and also Ruben Kasera and Pima Chipirango. What do is ensure you start your day a very informed person of what is happening in the country and overseas. Now, in the agenda, we have a guest and look at issues of national concern. And this morning, we want to look at the need to amend and harmonize laws regulating SACCOs in Uganda. Now, for a long time, our government has looked at all forms of empowering Ugandans by giving them financial assistance and using a cooperative model known as SACCOs. But over a time, there have been questions in terms where there could be contradictions regarding the law. And joining me on set, whenever I'm discussing anything to do with cooperatives and of course SACCOs, which are cooperatives as well, is the General Secretary, Uganda Cooperative Alliance, Ivan Asimwe, and later on we'll be joined by another guest, if time allows, from also the legal fraternity, but also a member of Uganda Cooperative Alliance, to see how best we can push the voice to cause for this harmonization and amendment where need be. Join me, welcome a very smart gentleman with me, Ivan Asimwe.
Thank you so much, moderator. You know, today we agreed to be very smart, me and you. Good morning, all our viewers. I'm really very happy to be here today.
How is the alliance moving?
The alliance, Uganda Cooperative Alliance, is moving on very well. We are on the best trajectory because this is the opt-in time where we prove our relevance as an apex body. Because previously, I don't think that we had such a vigor, but now we have too much vigor because we really need to showcase the relevance of cooperatives in this country. Because cooperatives, not only in Uganda, but globally, they have changed the lives of many people. So who are we not to really champion this in this country? And we are very happy with our government because the government adopted the cooperative model. The president is always talking about the cooperatives. So we now need to take the message down to the people And we are very happy with UBC for always giving us such opportunity to really share with the cooperators and even non-cooperators down there. So we are always happy for you.
Now, Ivan, for today's topic, let's begin by defining a SACCO for our people, the Credit Saving and Cooperative. Let's break this down for our person to understand. First, many don't even know that they are cooperatives, much as there is the word cooperative. So let's break this so that our public can know what are we pushing for to have laws amended towards.
Thank you so much. As usual, I want to thank you, moderator, UBC in general. Thank you so much. Cooperators, you need to join me to appreciate UBC, because this is an opportunity for us to really share all of this. What is a SACCO? A SACCO is a savings and credit cooperative organization. In brief, it's an abbreviation of savings and credit cooperative organization. When you go to other countries, they are called credit unions. So whether it's a credit union, whether it is a SACCO, it is about a financial cooperative. It is a type of cooperative that provides financial services to the members. We know we have different types and forms of cooperatives. When you talk about SACCOs, here you mean those cooperatives that provide financial services to the members in terms of savings and credit. And it is made like that. It is a savings and credit, meaning that you save and then you access credit, not accessing credit and then you save. It is save first and then access credit. So it's that type. Now we have different types and forms, like I've mentioned. Beyond SACCOs, we have agricultural production and marketing cooperatives. Talk about Chibinge, Banyankole, Bugisu, Sebei Eragon, East Acholi, West Acholi, name them, there are so many. Then we have energy cooperatives, like Chegegwa Energy Cooperative, Paida Beam Cooperative Society, and others. Then we have health cooperatives, those ones are into health. We have transport cooperatives, Uganda Cooperative Transport Union, our Kule Nume in Kampala, the borders, those are in transport. Then we have housing cooperatives like Uganda Housing Cooperative Union. It's the union for all these housing cooperatives. So there are so many in the country. And then when you talk about the forms, when you bring these circles together, they form unions. Like Uganda Cooperative Savings and Credit Union, UKUSCU, is a union under Uganda Cooperative Alliance because the members are SACCOs. Then we also have like Uganda Central Cooperative Financial Services, UCAFS, which sits in UCA. Then we have Kigezi SACCOs Union. It's a union for SACCOs in Kigezi region. We have Ntungamo SACCOs Union and others. Even Shema, they are there. So when you bring those unions together, you now form Uganda Cooperative Alliance as the apex, which is the topmost. So that is the form or the structure. Then the types I've explained. Now when you talk about SACCOs, globally, SACCOs started during the Industrial Revolution because there was a financial crisis and the investors needed money. So what they did in Germany, there was a mayor called Rafsen. In 1864, he led the champion of establishing credit unions. 1864, long time ago. Now, according to the World Council of Credit Unions, this is an umbrella body for all SACCOs globally. According to the study they did, credit unions or SACCOs are in over 101 countries globally. With they estimate that globally we have over 56,000 registered SACCOs with a membership of 200 million and with total assets of 1.7 trillion US dollars. If you had a calculator, you'd help me as I move. 1.7 trillion US dollars, put it in Uganda shillings, convert it, and then you'll tell us whether it is, I don't know, whether it is trillions or whichever, I don't know, but it is more. You can't even put it on your calculator.
Yes.
What do I mean? I mean that SACCOs globally, they have a financial muscle. So when we are talking about SACCOs, the viewers, we are not talking about a very small thing. We are talking about financial institutions that are bigger than commercial banks with those trillions. You come back to Uganda here, we have over 20,000 registered SACCOs now.
Over 20,000?
Yes, over 20,000.
That's a big number.
It's a big number. Because now when you look at the PDM, PDM, they are supposed to register 10,954 SACCOs across the country. Because according to the president, each parish is supposed to have a SACCO. Now, and that's why we really appreciate very much the government. We appreciate His Excellency for this move of ensuring that Ugandans adopt the cooperative model. Now, I have been talking about SACCOs and being a cooperative and being a type of cooperative. What is a cooperative? A cooperative ideally means an autonomous association of persons united voluntarily to meet their social, economic, cultural needs and aspirations through a jointly owned and democratically controlled enterprise. And cooperatives are based on 7 international cooperative principles developed under Vienna Congress in 1966. And then in 1995, they made a review under Manchester Congress, where they added on the 7th principle, which is community concern. So these are globally guided by the international principles and values.
Now, all that said, of course, it gives our viewer more understanding of what we are discussing today, the SACCOs. And now we want to look at why are you pushing for amendments, for harmonization? Because that means there is a gap. So which are the gaps?
Very true. Moderator, today we are expecting to have a council here, Council Morgan, who is the chairperson of the Uganda Law Society, SACCO. You know, even lawyers have a SACCO. The medics have a SACCO. Politicians in parliament, they have a SACCO. So, everybody now. Now, why? Like I've mentioned, we have all that big number of SACCOs in the country. Now, what happened? Because of the financial muscle, because of the risks involved in handling money, because of the challenges that we see. You remember last time we were here talking about UCA having conducted a capacity needs assessment, and we really discovered that there are so many challenges in these cooperatives, including SACCOs. So based on that, in 2003, the central bank amended the MDI Act to allow regulation and licensing of bigger SACCOs. Now, according to BOU, a bigger SACCO means that SACCO that has share capital of 500 million plus, and then voluntary savings of 1.5 billion plus, Uganda shillings plus. So for those ones beyond 500 million and 1.5 billion, share capital and savings respectively are considered as bigger SACCOs, and they need to go to the central bank
now, Ivan,
for regulation.
You're a certified accountant.
Yes.
And with you numbers, these technical terms are very common to you.
Yes.
Now, for my people, when we talk about share capital and then voluntary savings,
yes,
break that down, because someone may be in a SACCO that is under that, but they don't understand what you're saying.
Okay, fine. So when you
Briefly,
talk about savings, this is the money people save.
Saving,
these are members' deposits.
Yes.
What they deposit. When you talk of share capital, in my language they would call it omugabo. Omugabo meaning this is what you buy, the money that you pay to a cooperative in order to qualify to be a member and a shareholder. So that at the end of the year, in case they are giving out dividends, then they pay you according to the shares that you have. So this is your investment, what you pay in order to say that I now own this SACCO, I'm a shareholder. So for them, they categorized those SACCOs based on what people have invested there and also how much they deposit. Then in 2016, government enacted a new law called the Tier 4 Microfinance Institutions and Money Lenders Act. And it requires that all SACCOs shall be licensed and regulated by Uganda Microfinance Regulatory Authority, which is UMRA.
You get it? Yes.
Now, in 2020, the Cooperative Societies Act, Cap 112, was also amended because this act had been enacted in 1991. So it was also amended now saying that SACCOs should go to the Registrar of Cooperatives. You see? Because previously, before the enactment of the Tier 4 and also the amendment of the other central bank, all SACCOs were categorized as cooperatives and they were under the supervision of the Registrar of Cooperatives. But now when they did the other amendments, they now sort of took them away. The Registrar was left with registering SACCOs. So after registration, automatically it would cross over. However, in 2020, the Cooperative Societies Act, Cap 112, is also amended. Now it says SACCOs come back to the registrar. So that one creates a legal lacuna. A legal lacuna in the sense that now if you are a SACCO standing here, for example, you are Garo SACCO, then where do you fall? Are you supposed to go to Bank of Uganda? Are you supposed to go to UMRA? Or are you supposed to go to the registrar? Now, all of those three regulations, they have a cost implication because you have to pay fees. Yes. Secondly, there is bureaucracy. Thirdly, there is contradiction. This one says this, the other one says no. For example, let me give you an example. Under Tier 4 Microfinance Institutions and the Money Lenders Act, it says that you cannot be called a savings and credit cooperative society unless you have a license from UMRA. You get it?
Yes, I do.
Now, the other law, which is now Cooperative Societies Act, it is now Cap 107 after the amendment. It says you can actually become a SACCO at inception. So when they are registering like now the UBC staff SACCO, they register you as UBC staff SACCO at registration. Whereas the other law says you cannot be called the SACCO unless you have a license. So it means you cannot be called the child unless you are baptized. So how do you baptize someone who is not yet born? That is a contradiction already. Now, when you go to our neighbors here, we are not going very far. In Kenya here, Kenya has a single regulator called the SACCO Regulatory Authority, SACCO. And it is very clear. And again, the viewers, you see, you cannot regulate something you don't know. You need to understand that a SACCO is a cooperative, not a company. The moment you confuse the two, then you are done. Because
one looks at profits.
Yes, one looks at a profit. The company is profit-oriented.
Yes, this one looks
the
at
SACCO
surplus.
is looking at member satisfaction on a sustainable basis. So that one contradicts the other. Secondly, when you are trying to regulate any cooperative, you must be mindful of the international cooperative principles and values. The principles are 7. Number 1 is voluntary and open membership. Number 2 is democratic member control. Number 3 is member economic participation. Number 4 is autonomy and independence. Number 5 is member training, education and information. Number 6 is cooperation among cooperatives. And number 7 is community concern. You must know these principles. And the values and the tenets, you must know that a member, a SACCO is member owned, member used, member controlled and benefiting members, which defeats the legal entity concept for us accountants. For us accountants, when I'm studying accounting, I am taking IFRSs, the National Financial Reporting Standards, and I study company accounts. So the company accounts will say that once a company is incorporated, it becomes a separate legal entity. You get it? From its owners. Yes, even in the Cooperative Societies Act, it is there. Section 28 of Cap 112. It says that a SACCO is a body corporate. However, the fact that a SACCO or a cooperative is based on principles and values, you don't separate it from the owner. It remains owner, controlled, used, and benefiting. If it is a SACCO, me and you and Chirabo and another one, we as members, the SACCO generates revenue amongst ourselves here as members. Unlike a company like a bank, when you open a branch in Chisoro or Kunjiri, the profits you are making the other side is not from the shareholders, is from non-shareholders, is from the public. So you are, that one, when you are preparing accounts, it is different because the profits have been generated outside its membership. But in the SACCO, the profits or the surplus or the income is generated within the membership itself, because you are not allowed to generate revenue outside the membership. So that is why we are having problems, one, with the accountants when it comes to financial reporting, because they tend to think in terms of company accounts, yet they are dealing with cooperatives. When you go to the legal fraternity, that's why Morgan is supposed to be here, you find the lawyers are looking at cooperatives as companies. Yesterday we were in revenue, URA. Someone was giving us a form for URA to go and get registration with URSB and also get Form 20. It took me an hour to convince a URA staff that a cooperative is not a company. But they were insisting, no, you must go to URSB, you must fill Form 20. I said, no, a cooperative is not a company. So, if you are to regulate these cooperatives, you need to understand the cooperative principles and values and ideology. That's when you can easily regulate these cooperatives.
So where do you feel among these three bodies that cooperatives would better be understood?
So what we want, what do we want? Because now these are the views of the cooperative.
Yes.
On the 28th of September 2023, last year, we had a national cooperative, because it has been, these issues have been upcoming. It has not started today. The issue of regulating SACCOs started long time back, around 2008. Because SACCOs had become very strong in the country. You know, we have very big SACCOs like Wazalendo and others. So, of course, we needed to, these SACCOs, we wanted them to be regulated. So it started like that. And for cooperators, right from inception, they wanted the body that can regulate these SACCOs, understanding them very well, understanding the cooperative ideology, the principles and the values, so that you don't take them away from the Muramwa or from the core. So, on that day, the cooperators sat on the 20th of September last year and came up with resolutions. And one of the resolutions was, let us engage government. What do we want? We want a single regulator.
Okay,
that's
first
and a single regulator. Law. And a single law.
Oh.
Have a single law and a single regulator. A law that is specifically designed for SACCOs. You get me? And the regulator that is specifically to regulate SACCOs. This is what they decided. So, we immediately after that, we wrote to the Attorney General. And the Attorney General, in his wisdom, advised the government. And said the government cooperators are right. Because there is a lacuna. You cannot subject them to 3 homes. It's like now, I have my family here. I have where I'm born. You cannot tell me, this is your father, this is your father, this is your father. So, among the 3, who is my father?
Yes.
You get me? So, SACCOs don't want those homes. What they want is to have a single home. And a home that understands them better. So that when you are regulating SACCOs, you don't put these parameters as if you are regulating a commercial bank. A SACCO is not a commercial bank. A SACCO is not an MDI. A SACCO is a SACCO as a cooperative. So, the Attorney General advised that government, you need to amend and harmonize these laws. We even went further to the Solicitor General, who also did the same. Government, you need to harmonize, amend. Now, based on that, we have been moving. Even this year, on the 24th, it was Tuesday, 24th of September, we went back for the National Cooperative Consultative Meeting, and the members, their stand is still, we need a single regulator, like it is in Kenya, and a single law. I'm happy to inform Ugandans, because I don't want us to control the main thing as if nothing is going on. And I want to thank government, because what has happened, after the communication by the Attorney General and the Solicitor General, they went further and communicated to Uganda Law Reform Commission. Uganda Law Reform Commission took up the matter. Last week on Monday, they invited us. They invited UCA, Uganda Cooperative Alliance as an apex body. They invited Ukusku as a union for circles. They invited the Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Trade, Ministry of Justice. We had a whole day, in fact 2 days meeting. And having understood the concerns of the cooperators and the cooperative ideology and whatever, and even globally, we have also done benchmarking. We have looked at Tanzania, we have looked at Kenya, we have looked at India, we have looked at China, we have looked at Brazil, and we see how these cooperatives are being regulated as circles and how they are moving very fast. So based on that, we had our input, and finally we agreed that they are going to, because what did we agree on in this discussion? The lawyers, because this is now a team of the land people, the lawyers, they really sat down, understood everything, the concerns of the cooperators, and the lacuna that is there, the contradictions are there, like I've mentioned. For example, when you go to this one of Central Bank, they amended the MDI Act and they defined a microfinance. But in the definition of a microfinance, it is still talking about a company. Are you getting me?
Yes.
Now, if a circle went there to the central bank and it enters like this, is it entering as a cooperative or as a company? Because the microfinance definition in the MDI Act is still talking about the company, not the cooperative. So when it is entering like this, does it enter? That has been my question. Does it enter as a company or as a cooperative?
It enters
the
as
moment
a company.
It ends, because the law requires a company.
Yes.
That means you now have to change form from cooperative to company, if you are to suit the definition. So you see the contradiction. The other contradictions you will find here, maybe the Cooperative Societies Act amended. The registrar can liquidate. When you go to tier 4, then UMRA can liquidate. So among the two, who is supposed to liquidate? Even the central bank is supposed to liquidate. So what happens then? So all of those contradictions, I'm happy to inform Ugandans that Uganda Reform Commission has well guided us, and they are also in agreement that we need to have a single regulator and a single law. We do not mind who comes in. For us, we are not there to fight whichever. Whether it is central bank, whether it is UMRA, whether it is registrar, we don't have a problem. What we want is a single regulator and a single law, and the cooperatives should be represented on the board of the regulator. Why? Because we want people who understand these cooperatives. If you are taking cattle keepers and there is a meeting, then you need to have a representative of someone who understands cattle, not from cotton to go and represent cattle keepers. So likewise, on the board, we would want, and like it is in Kenya, you would find the central bank is represented, because this is money, finances. Ministry of Finance is represented. The CAK, the Cooperative Alliance of Kenya, is represented. Then the Ministry of Trade and the Cooperatives is also represented. So that is what we want. We want a single regulator where we have like the Ministry of Trade, Ministry of Finance, the Central Bank, Uganda Cooperative Alliance, the cooperators all represented, and then we speak the same language. I tell you, moderator, in Uganda, based on the challenges that we see in these circles, it is high time that we started regulating these cooperatives. We want the regulation of these circles even as early as yesterday.
Now, Ivan, that said, no doubt it is very relevant to have a single law. It is very relevant to have a particular or one regulator. But that said, and I'm happy that it's beginning to see the light of day, when we look at circles, could we say that in any way these lacunas have affected the smooth running of circles?
Very much.
Because we have so many problems in circles.
Very much.
And I was first saying, would these be the first priorities?
Oh, Very much. That's a very
one opens today in a twinkle of an eye. It is normal.
It is a
Others
very important
are
question, moderator. Why? As we speak today, the lacuna is affecting circles.
In which way?
Across the country. In which way? Very good. Of recent, I got a letter from Narrow Circle, Narrow Staff Circle. They went to process a code in a public service because this is a staff circle. So they wanted to start transferring the staff salaries through the circle and also give them loans so that they can easily deduct at source. Requirement number one is that they need a license. Now, when they went to Uganda Microfinance Regulatory Authority, you know, because of rationalization, do you know what has happened?
Uplift means that area.
It doesn't have, Umura doesn't have a board currently. Because this is information I got as a general secretary. When they wrote to me, I had now to write to Umura. What is this lacuna? How can this circle be assisted? So the information I got is that we don't have a board. Why? Because it has been rationalized. It has been put in the Ministry of Finance.
Yes.
Now, in that context, they cannot issue licenses. So when in the event that you cannot issue a license, so what happens? Yet there is a precedence, there is a case in the court. There was a ruling that was made, I think this year or last year, where, I may not mention the institution here, where a circle union had lent money. And then when it came to recovery, you know, people have against people have learned. And now there is a saying that now that birds have learned to fly without perching, man must learn to shoot without missing. This is what I am calling upon government. This is something that we should do as early as yesterday. Let us prioritize this. Let us put a lot of resources. Let us support.
We are still looking at how it's affecting.
Let us support Uganda Road Reform Commission to ensure that the amendment, this one comes up very fast. The amendments are done by Parliament so that we have a single law and a regulator. So number one, there is no issuance of licenses.
Okay, that is
so
very
critical. So
critical.
that one affects them.
Yes.
There is a case that was made, and in that ruling, because the union had lent money, so when it came to recovery, the defaulters refused to pay. Instead, they challenged the legality of this of the process of lending. And you see what their concern was, that the process of lending was illegal. Illegal in the sense that the circle union did not have a license to lend.
Yes.
You get it? And the court appealed the decision that because they did not have a license, it means that whatever they were dealing in was null and void. And the union lost money. Now, as we speak today, this one is a bit confidential. But circles are having challenges with recovery of their loans because of that precedence. So they need licenses as fast as possible. Because the other law says you need to have a license. If you don't have it, what happens? There is a problem with recovery. So that is the challenge number two. Challenge number three is now about we as an apex body. Because the law, it is now section 33 of Cooperative Societies Act, Cap 107, which requires the board of Uganda Cooperative Alliance to engage government on matters of policy relating to cooperative societies. So we are now at the test as an apex body, because our role is to engage on policy matters. We are engaging, but things are not moving. And now it comes back to us, because the circles have to write. They are giving us concerns. We are suffering, we are struggling. Another thing, people are taking advantage, especially now the leaders. You were here last time talking about it. And even our capacity needs assessment revealed that there is a very big challenge of governance in these circles. Now they are taking advantage, the leaders. Why? Because of the lacuna. If you are a chairman of the circle and you embezzle money, what happens? Is it central bank? Is it Umura? Is it the registrar? Who is supposed now to handle your matter? So people are against now, they have opened their eyes. So we need to be moving very fast. So there is a challenge of governance. Now there is also a challenge regarding how do you proceed. Operations are also affected. You know, the law is like the blood. If today my blood was drained out completely,
You'll be no more.
I will be no more. So once you have a legal lacuna in certain institutions,
most of here that are dealing with monies,
and you are dealing with money, and you are dealing with many people, then automatically you have a problem. So this is then lastly, the law also, the lacuna that I see is integrating the cooperatives, because you see a SACCO does not operate independently. You know, cooperatives the way they are. That is why in 1966 they put in the principle number 6, which is a cooperation among cooperatives. Cooperatives don't compete, they work together. Now you will find that this is a SACCO and for the dairy or the cattle keepers, and then there is also a SACCO inside. There is a SACCO, there is a dairy cooperative together, fused together, which we call the integrated cooperative business model.
Yes.
That's what we call it, or the tripartite model. Now, why is it? You see, when you are a cattle keeper, let's say you bring milk, our business model is that when you bring the milk to the dairy cooperative, all the payments are done through the SACCO. When you need advance, your child has been sent away from school, you don't need to go to money lenders, you go to your SACCO. And you don't need a guarantor or security. The security and the guarantor is your milk. You get it? That is the business model. Now, how are you going to regulate these SACCOs in the context of the business model? So that is why you need people who understand the cooperatives, so that you have a regulator here for SACCOs, but a SACCO which is mindful of the business integrated model, so that you bring the two together. But when you remove the SACCO here and you want to regulate it and license it as if it is not connected to the other, then automatically the other one will fail. So this is now another lacuna that is there. So there are so many contradictions. We cannot finish them here, but they are, like I've mentioned, issues of operations, issues of governance, issues of costs, issues, all of those are affecting the SACCOs. But I'm happy, like I've mentioned, that actually the government is responding very positively. But I want to call upon government that let's speed up, because the more we delay, the more challenges we are going to face as a country. And now that the government is really looking at the PDM SACCOs, this is the right time. That as government invests a lot of money in the PDM, over 1 trillion going down to PDM SACCOs every year. It's a lot of money. So for you to push that money there, even in the Myoga, make sure that the landscape is very clear. Make sure the law is worked on very well.
Well, Ivan has really broken down all the gaps, I must say, and how they're affecting SACCOs in this country. Remember, this is one of the growing and fastest growing method through which government is using to empower people. When you talk about the parish development model, the PDM, we are looking at 39% of Ugandans who are not in the money economy being brought into the money economy. But Pillar 3 is financial uplifting there, where now government intentionally and well planned will or has injected money in these circles. People have gotten money from the parish development model as Pillar 3. But the challenge is, if there are still gaps in the law that hinders smooth operation, or that the crafty Ugandans can use not to pay back, then it is something we must address with a lot of urgency to ensure that the SACCO movement continues growing and there are no issues regarding the law. Now I have a message coming in. Thanks for hosting our beloved Secretary General, CPA Asimwe Ivan. I appreciate his wisdom in cooperative management. However, I wish to bring this to his attention that there are so many mushrooming SACCOs down there which were the SACCO court, but actually they aren't SACCOs, instead promoting selfish interests. So we need to carry out audits for all SACCOs in as far as governance and operations are concerned. Thank you, Bwana CP Ivan. Hangi Kenneth, watching from Shema. And he says, Bwana CP Ivan, as a result of such contradictions of who is the right regulator, is some SACCOs are taking advantage of of the same by harassing its members. Mohanji from Shema. Okay, thank you so much. You can send in your message to the number that will be popping up on WhatsApp. Please, let's use English. A humble request, let's use English. A brother sent in here, I think this is Unyankole. No, let's use English. Well, the language of our colonial masters. Please, I'll be glad. Another one says the circle movement is growing, but the challenge is many people are forming this for selfish gains. I need to understand from the beginning. Ivan said you save first, then get money. He says I remember one time it was called revolving fund, that it is what you save is what you share. But today circles mean come as a group, be given money to elevate your earnings. So one is looking at your definition as not what actually is happening on ground today. Let's first look at those two as more are coming in.
Yeah, thank you so much, moderator, and I want to thank the people who have responded. You can really see that Ugandans love cooperatives. They are all attentive. They are following the whole story. Now, Mr. Mohanji, thank you so much, and the other people. Yes, it is true that actually a circle is supposed to be a savings and a credit, not a credit and savings. But people take it the other way around. So this is all about cooperative education. You know, there is information asymmetry. People are not aware. For them, they know that now when you talk of a circle, it's a matter of calling people for a meeting. They sit there in a playground, and then you say, I'm giving you money. Form a circle very fast.
Form a circle, have your constitution
that
there.
Is not a circle.
Very quickly then.
That is not a circle. It may be called a circle, but ideologically, it is not a circle. Because a circle is a savings and credit cooperative organization, and the cooperative is formed out of people's initiatives. People must think, people must see a challenge or an opportunity. And based on that, together, how do we fight poverty? Together, how do we take advantage of the opportunity? And then you start. The way you have looked at the history of 1864 in Germany, whereby during the Industrial Revolution, there was a financial crisis in Germany. And the people thought, how do we come out of this quagmire? Let us form our own institutions. We save the little money that we have, we access credit so that we can invest during this Industrial Revolution. When it came to Africa, in Ghana, by Father John, having gone to Canada, he was from Ireland. He also took the same message. And these people organized themselves. They started saving the little money they have, the farmers. They had that money, and then they would access credit. That is it. So ideally, it is like that. Others have been appreciating. So the ideology sometimes has been distorted. But it is now upon me and you. And that is why I always appreciative of UBC. Because now many people outside there didn't know. And they confess that actually we did not know this. But now that we have known, we are going to change. Regarding the challenges in the circles, this is what I mentioned. There are so many challenges, including the legal lacuna. And it is high time that we really work on the law and the regulator. Because if the regulator was there, like it is in Kenya, you know, when the regulator is there,
yes,
they follow everything. The governance, you see the way Bank of Uganda monitors commercial banks.
Yes.
To make sure they put standards. If you're chairman board, if you are this, the manager, all operations, you must give reports, you must do this. So it is the regulator and the good law that are going to address these challenges.
Let me just also have this dealt with. Mine is an appreciation to Mr. Asimwe Ivan. I like the way you are using your cooperative knowledge to impact the Ugandan population. I am always happy and glad to follow your shows here at UBC. And Mr. Chirabo, thank you for always making Good Morning Uganda a joy to watch. Good morning Uganda. I am Sunday Arika from Koboko district. Oh, regards to the people of Koboko. Thank you so much, Sunday, for always being part of Good Morning Uganda. We thank you for always being with us and that time, and also always giving us feedback. We always receive your messages, and thank you indeed. Now, another one. Thanks, Ivan, for educating Ugandans. My concern is about educational materials to the mushrooming circles. PDM, Emyoga. I implore government to avail them with COPLAW materials for reference. Semakula Joseph, PCO Mitiana MC.
Oh.
You understand that? PCO Mitiana MC.
Okay, thank you so much, Moderator. Again, I want to thank the people who have responded. You know, when someone says that he's happy, of course I've been there. I've been in the cooperatives for 21 years. And the advantage I have is that I started as a cashier of a circle. I did not just come from top and from down. I have gone through the entire process. Cashiering, loans officer, accountant, assistant manager, general manager of a circle, up to the general secretary. So at least I've gone through the process. And I know the challenges because physically I've been there. I know what these circles are going through when it comes to their operations. All these challenges that they are mentioning are true. They are there, down there, issues of governance, issues of record keeping, issues of these mushrooming cooperatives. Someone just gets family members, 30 people. My son, my daughter, my grandchild, such things. They come, we are 30, we want to form a circle. Tomorrow, you hear the circle, they have stolen people's money, and it's no longer there. But if the regulator was there, and it is very clear that for you to have a circle, these are the parameters. Then such mushrooming circles that are defrauding people's money wouldn't arise. Then someone asked about the training material. Indeed, I want to call upon the government and want to thank you for supporting cooperatives using it through the PDM and the Myoga. But we need to train them. Capacity building is really needed. Because when I come here and talk, not every Ugandan will listen to me. There is a lot that is needed. People down there do not understand what they are into. For them, they know it is like, when you talk about PDM, they know it is Kasimu. It's an appreciation. They don't know that this is a revolving fund where me and you are supposed to get the money. We use it effectively, we return it, then another one uses the money like that. The president has really done this very well. What is now needed is the technical team to sit down with Uganda Cooperative Alliance. Because why do I talk about UCA? We have been here since 1961, 17th of June, and we have done all this to establish. I will tell you, in 1990s, Uganda Cooperative Alliance, together with the government, with the support of UNDP, they moved across the country, mobilized the communities, and the communities formed the village banks. All these bigger circles you see were established with the support of Uganda Cooperative Alliance. Talk about Ryamujungu, talk about Rubabo, Agaro, Moyo, Koboko, all those, they were started. And when you go inside their offices, you find an old signpost written, let's say, Moyo Village Bank. So later, the name changed from Village Bank to circles.
Because so, the regulator bank of Uganda,
because the central bank, then yes, the central bank did not allow the use of the word bank.
Yes.
So we changed immediately from village banks. The time I entered the circle in 2003, it was called a village bank. So immediately they changed it to a savings and credit. So given that experience, Ugandans, we have the experience to go down and train these people so that tomorrow we have a transformed economy. I will be very happy when Uganda has transformed, when people are very rich, because this is a country gifted by nature with political peace, with the weather is good, the soils are very fertile. So what is it that we are lacking not to develop? What we need is capacity building, mobilization and sensitization of our people. And then tomorrow, Uganda should be among the first-class economies?
Well, first-class economies is our desire, and we know it is a step in the right direction if we have SACCOs as a vehicle, which our government has chosen really, because when you look at ways through which government is providing money, they're looking at people forming groups, and the SACCO method is what they're using. The good thing with cooperatives is the economy of the country is in the hands of the people. It is the people that come together, use numbers, financially engage in business in the various forms of cooperatives or circles you can talk about. So they run their economy, and that is something very good. And of course it can get us to where we are going. But with the lacunas my guest has talked about, we must address them. But also cooperative education is something very, very important, because many times there is so much excitement, mostly when it comes to government programs, that sometimes people miss the vital foundations of some of these programs. When we talk about financial inclusion, that is pillar 3 under the parish development model, which aims at the 39% stealing out of the money economy, to bring them into the money economy. You find that I think we fronted more, and we keep on fronting, money is coming, money is coming. We miss the other foundation, that this should be just an addition by government into something that is already running to broaden their capital base for credit. Now, these are the challenges we are facing, and that is why we say more education, but also ensuring that we work on the lacunas within the law. Ivan, I must let you out of the studios. But before, I give you 1 minute.
Thank you so much. But I should now, next time I should host you, because you understand the cooperatives better now than me.
Not at all.
Yes, than me. So I'm very happy for, I'm really happy to UBC for always giving us this opportunity. On behalf of the cooperative movement, I want to thank you, the board and management, for this opportunity. Ugandans outside there are watching. I want to call upon all Ugandans. Let's work together, support our cooperatives, support our country, because when you are looking at now the NDP4, which is about agro-industrialization, we cannot agro-industrialize if we don't have a very strong financing arm. And the circles here are contributing a lot towards this pillar. So Ugandans, let us all work together. Let us support our circles. Let us support all types and forms of cooperatives so that we transform this economy together. Thank you, and have a blessed day.
Well, thank you so much, Ivan Asimwe, who is the General Secretary of Uganda Cooperative Alliance, and you, our viewer. To the cooperators out there, yes, let's seek more information and more knowledge regarding cooperatives. See you in the next hour. Good morning.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
A new dawn on Behind the Headlines with me, Timothy Nyangweso. Every Wednesday, live in our studios in the heart of Kampala. We have conversations that have analysis, explanation, but not every truth is fact, and not every fact is truth. Every Wednesday, 10 p.m. on your public broadcaster.
Broadcaster, UBC, inspiring Uganda. Billions is easy, no.